My guest today is Jason Brink. Jason is the CEO and co-founder at Datagram, a decentralized real-time communication infrastructure platform. It leverages underutilized network resources to provide secure, stable, cost-effective communication solutions. That was a bit of a mouthful. I'm sure Jason will explain it in many different ways. Welcome to the show, Jason.
Thank you very much, Andy. Happy to be here, man. And yes, I will. I will explain that. We need to get that new text out there because we actually do a lot more than communications. That's sort of the first thing that was built, and for some reason, that's the thing that everyone grasps onto. But it's not sort of the underlying core foundational technology. It's just sort of one thing they do. It would be like describing Google as Gmail. It's not.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it has it. We do that, but that's not the main thing.
All right. Well, look, just before we jump into Datagram, Jason, do you want to introduce yourself just really quickly?
Sure.
Give us a little snapshot of who you are and what you've been doing in the lead up to co-founding Datagram.
Sure. So I've been in the blockchain space since 2013, 2014. I've always looked at blockchain as a way to try to find transformational, change via technology. Blockchain, I think, is probably the best thing for that. And I've been, pushing that forward since day one. 2013, 2014, I was involved in blockchain from the perspective of using it to fix some of the problems endemic to foreign aid. I proposed the creation of a stable coin, won an award from the Global Development Network and Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation for that. Went on to try to push that forward for a couple of years, found that governments and NGOs are rather enamored with their own way of doing things and aren't super interested in innovation. And so abandoned that, got involved in play and earn gaming, was the CMO and president of blockchain of a company called Gala, which most people have heard of. Left that almost a year ago now, which is crazy to think. And went on to found Datagram because I wanted to find a way to dig in more into DePIN. We had started doing some of that at Gala, but didn't push it far enough, in my opinion, and I wanted to take it to the next step.
Yes, indeed. So, of course, I do remember Gala. Gala is, I guess, a little bit easier to understand. Datagram, of course, is, a bit more in the weeds in terms of it's more like, it's infrastructure, it's deep. And, so give us the,
Sure.
I kind of gave a waffly version of the high-level summary at the beginning of the show that I don't think hit the spot with you, Jason. So you give us your version. Why don't you?
Well, so basically, the way that you should think of Datagram is if you think of Ethereum as a place to deploy tokens, you think of Solana as a place to deploy meme coins, think of Datagram as a place to deploy DePIN. Okay, not because we're a blockchain. We do have an L1 blockchain, but I'm personally of the opinion that blockchains, are basically a dime a dozen these days. So that's not the main focus. The main focus is on the protocol that allows DePIN networks to be built out and scaled. So one of the things that we did at Gala that I was very proud of is our Founders Node ecosystem. So the Founders Node ecosystem at Gala was thousands and thousands of machines that in aggregate represented a significant, even today, right now, represent 85% of all DHT routing across IPFS. Okay, the Interplanetary File System, which I'm sure many of your listeners are familiar with. Most people don't realize that when they do something on IPFS, there is a almost certainty that it's going to touch one of the Gala founders nodes. And that's a pretty cool thing. But there was a lot more that could be done with this because the Gala ecosystem, the nodes didn't really do a whole lot else. They supported IPFS and they supported some of the games, but that's cool. But there's a whole other realm that can be built on top of decentralized infrastructure. So what you can think of is we do essentially two things. Okay, there are two ways to interact with us. The first is you can think of us as a decentralized AWS. Okay, so whatever it is that you need to do, you can connect and do that thing. You need to, set up a streaming service, you can do that. You need to host something, you can do that. All of these, whatever it is that you need to do, you can do on top of Datagram. Okay, and that's treating it just like a cloud service provider. Okay, except for us, the cloud is actually a cloud. It's decentralized across many, many, many different machines all over the place. So that's option one. Option two is we provide something that is known as the Datagram core substrate. And what the Datagram core substrate is it's essentially a layer that any other DePIN network can build on top of. One of the things that I learned as I, started exploring the DePIN space more and more is that most DePIN projects are very vaporware-ish. And there's not nearly as much actual development going on as there should be, and most of it doesn't actually happen on chain. And so this is what Datagram jumped in to solve. And we do all of our uptime tracking and all of our usage tracking on chain. So you can, anyone can go transparently check and see, what a node is doing essentially. So what we've done is we've created a protocol that allows this to basically be put into any other DePIN network, okay, so that you can run the Datagram core substrate in parallel with whatever it is that your network does, and let us handle the nasty DePIN stuff while you do the thing that you're designed to do to begin with, whether it's decentralized music or gaming or whatever it is that you want to do. And we also, on top of that, we have now integrated AI inference across our node ecosystem as well. So you can connect, you can deploy an AI. We've got several variants right now across your node and use it for inference. So you can have your own private AI instance. Your own private AI instance.
Got it. Well, so in that case, then, Jason, you mentioned that as you went deeper into DePIN, you noticed that a lot of the projects were essentially vaporware. And look, that's not an unusual story.
It's unfortunately not. It's very common in crypto. It's been like since day one. It's been my battle to fight against this sort of stuff.
Yeah, look, as soon as a new narrative springs up, then a whole bunch of new projects spring up around that narrative. And yep. Some will be good, some will be well-intentioned, some will not. But if that's the case, though, then just paint a picture for us, Jason, in terms of the kind of projects that would use Datagram. Who is Datagram designed for? Who are the kind of projects, organizations, DAOs, who are they?
Everybody, honestly, man. If you deploy something on the internet, you can use Datagram. One of the things that's pretty unique about us is that we started off by taking the back end of an already commercially successful Web 2 company and spinning that out into a Web 3 company, and then taking along all those customers and all of the stuff that was being done by that Web 2 company and turning it into decentralized infra operations right now. So we have about 1.2 million customers right now across Datagram that have interacted with us at one point in time or another, most of which have absolutely no idea that they're on decentralized infra, which is like the holy grail of onboarding, because they're contributing to the token economy on the testnet right now and they have no idea. And that's exactly the way that it should be.
Yeah, so explain that, Ben. How is DePIN like a force or a transformative force for integrating, like Web 2 platforms into something that is more decentralized? What are the challenges and opportunities there, and what are the benefits ultimately for everyone as that kind of transition takes place?
Well, I think that there's two primary benefits, I think, from the end user's perspective. And I think that when we think about benefits, we need to think about what the end user thinks is benefits, not the bullshit that we want to say are benefits. Because we have a big problem with that in the Web3 space, where we are super excited about certain things, but the end user just doesn't care. It doesn't matter to them. So from their perspective, our ecosystem is extremely resilient, doesn't go down, fault tolerant in that regard. So you don't have a situation where like AWS fell over again yesterday, which hasn't happened in a while, but every time it does, like the entire internet basically grinds to a halt because of the number of services that AWS, supports. So that doesn't happen. If you're working on top of Datagram, you're not going to run into that problem. And so that's the first thing. And the end users, again, they don't care from an end user perspective whether they're centralized or decentralized. They just want it to work, right? And we believe that decentralization is the best way to get the resiliency necessary to make it something that is more robust and anti-fragile.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. The second is the scalability and the ease of deployment. I mean, for the average user, we're doing our best to make sure that everything is easy and smooth and doesn't feel Web3, if you know what I mean. Having things that feel Web3 is a pretty big killer, I think, for adoption. And so we're really working very hard to make it smooth and simple and easy.
Yep, that makes sense. And on that, what are the big claims? Of course, with DePIN, certainly with what you guys are doing at Datagram, is the whole point is to decentralize, but also it's about efficiency. So you talk about on the website reducing infrastructure costs by up to 90% compared to competitors or other platforms. That's interesting. Actually, I'd love to hear who you think your competitors are, and then how do you make those savings kind of possible?
Those savings are possible. Let's digging into that first. I mean, our competitors are anyone else who offers the solution. But again, I tend not to think in a competitive manner. I'm much more collaborative. So there are probably people that think that they are our competitors, and I don't think that they are. I think that they could be great friends that we could do really cool stuff with. But where the cost savings comes from. When you're working with your normal sort of cloud services provider, right? You have an entire vertically integrated chain of cost that ends with you as the consumer, paying the bill. Okay, you're paying your bill for bandwidth. You're paying your bill for egress fees. You're paying your bill for your bare metal servers. You're paying your bill for the land that those servers are in and the electricity that powers them and all of that. And it's this gigantic vertically integrated thing where everything that you do circles around that whole vertical integration, right? In our case, though, what we're doing is we're built around the edge. Okay, we're built on the outside. We're built on the devices that don't necessarily have that same vertical integration, right? You could run a node, for example, a full core node or a one of the Datagram substrate nodes on your router. Let's say if you had a router that was built for this particular purpose, or on your computer when you're not at home, or hell, you could put this stuff on your car if you wanted to, if you have a car that has the operating system and customizability to be able to do that. And it would then provide a service. It would provide that routing. It would host that content. And it would also still do the stuff that it was supposed to do. So you're not picking up, you're not operating on purpose-built infrastructure. What you're operating on is the excess that isn't being used to increase the efficiency of the entire network overall, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. And there's also, just been looking at what you call, so there's two parts to this. There's the triple token economy, which is quite, that's explained in the docs section on your website. And there's also there's a node sale coming soon as well. So yes. I think these are separate ideas, but they'll play together. So whichever one you want to tackle first, just talk us through, the node sale and of course the triple token economy.
Well, the triple token economy, and it's actually people get really worried when they hear multiple tokens. They're like, "Oh my God, oh no, what are they doing? They're going to try to manage all of these." It's not that. There's one token that is the sort of exchange traded float token out there, right? And that's going to be Dgram. So the problem, though, is that this is blockchain. and this is crypto, and prices are volatile. Okay, so you could have a token that's just ticking along wonderfully, and then the president of the United States launches a meme coin, and everything gets nuked. Every chart across the board gets nuked because all the liquidity goes into the best meme coin ever. It's one of the best. Everyone loves Trump. It's amazing. All the liquidity ends up just getting vacuumed out into that, and it's terrible for everyone else. The problem with that, it's stuff like that is always going to happen, and there's no point in pretending that that's not going to happen, right? And so the solution to that is by saying, okay, look, you have that token, it trades up and down, right? Does whatever it's going to do, and that's fine. But when you're on the actual platform, okay, you can't have a situation where somebody goes and purchases a number of data credits, okay, where they purchase what they think is $50 worth of service, okay, and then 24 hours later, because of the aforementioned meme coin launch, that's now $20 worth of service. From a Web 2 perspective, that doesn't work, right? Absolutely doesn't work. And so what we do is we say, okay, look, there's the exchange traded token, and then there is a non-transferable premium currency inside the ecosystem that basically, when you're ready to take the exchange traded token and turn it into service credits, okay, you do that conversion, and it's based on the 3-day moving average, and your $50 worth of credits, okay, you will know exactly how many credits you're going to get, and those $50 worth of credits will stay $50 worth of credits, no matter what the other external token does. I can go up and down all over the place. Doesn't matter. That $50 is $50. Now, then when you use those credits, okay, let's say you use those credits to do video streaming via UDP. Okay, so when you do that, your credits are burned. Okay, which again, the other quick note is that when you create those credits, the original Dgram token is burned too. At no point in time is there a part where we're collecting the Dgram token for revenue or anything. It's always a burn, always. So your Dgram token is burned into data. Okay, then your data token, when you use it, is burned into whatever the service is that you're using. In this case, it would be UDP. The node operator then receives that UDP token, which again is non-transferable, and at the end of the cycle, that is auto settled back into Dgram at again a 3-day moving average. So you have a system where, from the user's perspective, it is absolutely rock solid and stable. There is no weird fluctuations in terms of pricing. There is no problems with tokens going up or tokens going down, nuking your ability to do things. And you have an external token that serves as the reward currency for the entire ecosystem, and then also powers everything.
Got it. And what about the node sale?
Yeah, we're going to be kicking off a sale of full core node licenses. Probably, I'm thinking late May, early June. Mm-hmm. And that will kick off where we're working with all of the different people pretty much across the entire industry for this. The full core nodes are they're going to be quite powerful in terms of what they do and in their place in the ecosystem and all of that. So that will be kicking off, and you'll be able to pick that up either from our website, or there's going to be a number of partners that are there. It starts off. The pricing is quite manageable. We didn't want this to be something that there have been other node sales where nodes have gone for tens of thousands of dollars. We didn't want that. We wanted it to be very accessible. So we have a system where it's very much bottom loaded in terms of pricing, and then you basically have nodes that you can get for, I think the starting price is $400, and we'll be kicking that off, and you'll be able to run it on pretty. They're not hugely consumptive in terms of resources. Any sort of home computer would be able to handle it just fine, as well as there will be devices that we will recommend that people can use if they want to have it on something that's standalone.
Got it. All right. Well, look, Jason, as we start to finish up this part of the podcast, just again, for anyone listening that is potentially in need of a solution such as Datagram, or perhaps they're interested in being part of the node network, looking at the triple token economy, please just explain where people can go to learn all about what you're doing at Datagram. What should they do? Where should they go?
Well, the easiest first place to go to learn about us is our website, datagram.network. Go check out what we've got going on. The website itself is quite beautiful and informative, very slick. I like it. You can also then, on that website, you will find links to our Discord and to our X page and things like that. Come join our Discord. We are going to be having a rather extensive airdrop campaign in the Discord. Okay. And that will include, alpha node testnet operation and, all sorts of other interesting Discord bits and pieces. So, there's going to be a fun airdrop and tied into poker nights and all of that. So it should be good times.
Awesome. And that the website, folks, the link is in the show notes, but datagram.network, as simple as that. And well, look, Jason, as we start to finish up the show, before we finish up the show, we like to run you through a little segment we call the Crypto Conversation Hot Take Round. Are you up for it?
100%. Let's go.
Let's go, Jason. I'm just going to run some questions at you, and I just want you to give me your honest answers, whatever comes to mind. Question one for you is, Jason, where would you say that you sit on the Bitcoin maximalist to multi-chain opportunist spectrum?
This is going to piss people off. So am I a Bitcoin maxi? No, I'm not. And I'm not a Bitcoin maxi in the same way that it doesn't make sense to be a gold maxi. Okay, you can have all the gold in the world that you want. That's fine. It certainly has its place. It is certainly valuable. I would not dare to imply that it is not. However, if you go and you try to build a suspension bridge out of gold, you're going to have a bad day. Simply because something exists and because it has value does not negate the existence of other things. The Bitcoin is fantastic. It's hugely innovative, and it does great things. However, it's not great for everything, and we need to try to stop making it great for everything, because that degrades its original purpose.
Yep. Very well articulated. Thank you, Jason. What would you say then is your firmest conviction crypto opinion?
My firmest conviction, this is going to make people mad too. My firmest conviction is that blockchain will have succeeded when people don't know that it exists.
Yep.
In order for us to achieve mass adoption, we have to how do I put this delicately? In order for us to achieve mass adoption, we have to kind of come off of our linguistic ivory tower, where we talk about, decentralization and Byzantine fault tolerance and, all of these things that are super cool to us, but the average user does not care about. Only then will we get the adoption we need.
I like it. Couldn't agree more. Jason, Bill Gates famously said that we tend to overestimate what we can accomplish in 2 years and underestimate what we can accomplish in 10. As someone on blockchain, you'd be very familiar with that kind of thinking. But look, 10 years is, of course, a very long time. Whatever you like here, DePIN, Datagram, Web 3, or indeed Web 5, what does it look like in 10 years' time?
I think in 10 years' time, if we've done what we're supposed to do, okay, what you will see from a consumer's perspective, okay, things probably won't be much different. Okay. However, what you will see is an increase in autonomy and your ability to run your own things without depending on large organizations. And it will simply just kind of become a part of the, how would I put this? It will become a natural part of the evolution for the way that we do business. Similar to the way that, when mobile gaming first started, right? There was, a lot of initial pushback against it in the gaming space, right? And then eventually it just simply becomes ubiquitous. It takes over, and I think that you're going to see the same thing with DePIN and with decentralized compute and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Because
very.
yeah, I think we're just going to lose the desire to depend on a single organization, and it's going to just continue to grow and you know
Yeah.
get more diffuse.
Yeah, very, very well said. Another way of thinking about this, Jason, is a wonderful quote by sci-fi author William Gibson that you will have heard. He famously said, of course, that the future is already here. It's just not evenly distributed. So with that in mind, can you think of an example of the future being here right now, but most people aren't aware of it?
LLMs.
Yep.
LLMs. I mean, that's the easy. It's a cheater's answer, honestly.
Yeah. But true.
Because well, because the thing is people look at ChatGPT and they look at these other LLMs that are doing these amazing things, right? And two things are happening. The first thing is that the majority of people are using LLMs. And that there's going to be a distributed component to this later. But most people are using LLMs for remarkably stupid things. And I mean, like I turned me and my daughters into Muppets yesterday, and it's the cutest freaking thing ever. But it's not a good use of a gigantic pile of GPUs. So that's the first thing, is that people right now are using LLMs for really dumb stuff. And when they're not using it for dumb stuff, they're using it for things that you really wouldn't want to just hand over to a large organization like, OpenAI or X or anything like that. I mean, it's one of those things that if a product is free, you're the product, right? Like that's axiomatically true. So what I think you're going to see is you're going to see a lot more distributed and self-owned LLM instances for inference. I run my own LLM. Okay, a modified version of Llama out of a box in my house, and it's kind of like my own little Jarvis. And I don't have a lot of time to work on it, and but it's remarkably helpful. And I think that what you're going to find, and Datagram can help with things like this, is more people wanting to deploy and run their own things so that they can actually have their own conversations with their LLMs be private, because that's a pretty important thing. And so I think you're going to see more of that in the future.
Yep, couldn't agree more. And it brings us nicely to the final question, Jason, which is, what is your favorite science fiction book, film, or TV show?
Oh, that's tough. That's tough. So book, film, or TV show. I have been absolutely loving a series of books by Jason Anspach, called The Wayward Galaxy. And it's kind of a little bit of it has like a little bit of a Marshall feel to it. It covers it's very talks about humanity's exploration of the stars, and there's this one particular book that's absolutely epic. It's called Gods and Legionnaires. It's part of the Savage Wars trilogy, and it covers this these colony ships leave Earth, right? These sublight colony ships leave Earth, these massive, gigantic things with like oceans inside of them and whatnot, as they're going to go at sublight speed to the stars, right? And then, they leave, obviously, because Earth sucks and they don't want to be there anymore. Then, once they leave, a bunch of people invent faster than light travel, and so they skip ahead and they get to all of these, planets all throughout the galaxy, where they're starting to set up and colonize and stuff like that. Meanwhile, over centuries, these gigantic slow sublight ships get there, and so when the sublight ships get there, they've evolved over time and become highly technical and had to solve all these problems, and they're absolutely completely batshit insane. And then they start attacking these worlds that have been settled since they left Earth. It's very interesting. And that particular book follows the journey of one savage Marine named Prometheus. It's very fun. It's a very interesting book. I highly recommend it.
I like it. Thank you for sharing that. Jason, we bring ourselves to the end of the show. Thank you so much for coming and spending some time with us. Just to close it out, again, tell people where they can go to keep up to date with all things Datagram. And of course, shout out your socials, personal, business, anything you like, go for gold.
Awesome. Well, check us out at datagram.network and find us on X at dgram network. You can also find me at Bitbender Brink on X, and I'm there. I'm highly active. DMs are open, so shoot me a message, and I look forward to sharing what we're working on with you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All the best, and bye for now.
Thanks, sir.